This is Locusts of Egypt.
And you're listening to the Literati Records Podcast.
I felt you.
Welcome to episode 110 of the Literati Records Podcast. I'm Marcus, and I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to spend it with us, supporting independent music. First off, let me apologize. I have had a hard time kicking this nasty cold, and yeah, I feel about like I sound. However, we have an awesome interview for you today with Todd and Jim from Locusts of Egypt. I really enjoyed sitting down with them to discuss their new album, Fondness, which officially drops this Saturday, November 23rd, at Sidewinder Tavern. It's a longer interview than usual, as we got pretty in-depth on some of the album tracks, so I'll try and keep the intro short today. But there's a few gig announcements to cover before getting into our feature. Tonight at High Dive is a benefit show for Sam Turner, with a great lineup of heavy-ass bands including Speedwolf, In the Company of Serpents, Dead Temple, and Camus. This show will rock hard. Friday night, November 22nd, be sure to catch a sweet show at Lost Lake with Ned Garth, whose latest album, American Values, has been getting a large chunk of my listening time lately. And of course, Saturday night, November 23rd, two big release shows are going on. Indigenous Robot take over Lion's Lair to support their new Castles EP, where they'll share the stage with And the Black Feathers, Sons of Hippies, and Another Mother. While over at Sidewinder Tavern, our featured guests for today, Locusts of Egypt, will be celebrating the release of their new album, Fondness. They will be supported by Joe Sampson, as well as Ross Etherton and Chariots of Judah. Two great bands, two great albums, and of course two great shows. You can't go wrong attending either one. But the weekend doesn't end on Saturday, as the Cutthroat Drifters will be playing 3 full sets, Sunday night, November 24th, at Herb's downtown. Well, that does it for today's show announcements. Now let's bring on our featured guests, Denver band Locusts of Egypt, whose new album, Fondness, displays the band's songwriting depth and chameleon-like ability to adopt various stylistic skins without losing their distinct musical identity. All of the music on today's show comes from Fondness, and you can find a complete track listing in the show notes on our website at www.literatirecords.com. Now it is my honor to feature Locusts of Egypt.
All right, well, I'm down here at Lost Lake, where my guests are Todd and Jim from Locusts of Egypt. How you guys doing tonight?
Good.
Well, let's start on my left here with you, Todd, and get names and instruments of all the band members, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure. My name is Todd. I play bass. We also have a drummer named Brandon. He's not here tonight. And then Eugenia, who plays keys and vocals. And then...
I'm Jim, and I play guitars.
All right, well, can you give us a brief history of how the band formed and how you guys started playing music as Locusts of Egypt?
Sure, yeah. Todd and I have been writing music together for 7-8 years now, on and off, as just songwriting partners and recording things. But we didn't really become an actual band until about a year and a half ago, when we knew we had demoed out a bunch of the songs for what became the Fondness album that we're releasing, and we knew we were going to take it to a different level. And so we found a drummer and a keyboard player to fill out the band and record it properly. We had played all the instruments ourselves on prior recording projects, and we really wanted to have a real drummer and more talent as a unit. So
Playing everything yourself was fine for the demos, but you wanted to bring in people maybe more proficient at particular things.
Definitely. I mean, there was things that I would do that I would want to be done on the drums that I couldn't do, so I would do sort of reductive versions of those things that always, to me, felt like placeholders, but, you know, some of those things actually age kind of well in my mind, and I hear what I've done, I think, oh, that was really, you know, now I tell myself, oh, it was very tasteful and simple playing, and really I just couldn't do what I had maybe envisioned in the moment.
Well, and another goal is to be able to play out live, which is kind of hard when you're just doing all these overdubs, so...
Sure.
I feel like now things are just really gelling well to where, you know, we're all really listening to each other and kind of playing off some of those things. So it's I mean, the people we play with are just awesome, and it's been great to have their input and just their talent kind of adding those little nuances that we may not have thought of. So.
Well, is there a story behind the band name Locusts of Egypt? Because to be perfectly honest, I know when I first read it, I expected you guys to be like much heavier. It just has that Locusts of Egypt sound, you know? It's like, yeah. I mean, do you guys get that a lot?
Like with the name, I don't really remember the moment it came to me, but part of it was I like locusts, and I like that word. But there was something about sort of taking that and describing, I guess, a larger event, but just taking an element from it, you know? So it kind of speaks to a larger whole, but just taking a little nugget from that larger whole. And so people can kind of infer things. I don't have like a deep philosophical reason, but it was sort of, people kind of take it where they want to go. And I like your interpretation, you know.
It sticks with you.
And that's interesting because that was sort of my response viscerally to him sending, I think he'd labeled just a demo of a song that we were working on with Locusts of Egypt. And I had a similar response to you. I was struck in thinking, that is a striking, you know, name. It could work well with all sorts of imagery, and I liked it. And I thought, that's a cool name.
Yeah, it sticks with you for sure.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about some of the music on your upcoming album release, Fondness. Y'all have pulled off a pretty tedious feat that many bands have failed at. You've managed to produce an album with a lot of diversity and depth without sounding like a band with an identity crisis. Seriously, I mean, it all works very well together and makes for a very satisfying listen, in my opinion.
Thank you.
Was that a planned approach or just kind of how it came together?
I think we got really lucky with respect to what you're describing. But I think it was also the result of a plan that was in place. the record that we did before was very much piecemeal. We weren't on a regular writing or practicing schedule. We weren't a functioning band. And so we would start an idea, we would do just chords and record it, and then we would, build on top of it and and that would end up being the song. And when we got done with that and we decided we were going to go at it again and record new songs, we both had new material we wanted to do. Before we started, we talked, and I was very adamant about wanting us to take a different approach, where we would demo the material with the potential arrangements in multiple ways. We would cut the weaker songs from a larger batch, and approach the recording in a much more methodical manner. And so we didn't have a larger concept of an album as a whole, because we worked through the songs in a more methodical way. We got to the result we got to. When it came time to do the tracking, most of the songs were highly arranged as far as what guitars and other parts were going to go where and how much of everything we wanted.
Yeah, you should see his legal pads and spreadsheets and lists. It's quite impressive.
Yeah.
It's
very, very well organized.
Well, and we just knew
Yeah.
this is the first time as the two of us, we've gone into a studio where we're paying studio time. And, we went to the furnace room and it was awesome. It went great, but we knew okay, we need to watch our hours, but we have all these ideas. Let's just go in there organized and just make every day as productive as we can. And so, I tease him about the lists and spreadsheets, but I was totally appreciative. And Trevor at the studio was as well. I mean, he was just wow, this is impressive.
Well, we got amazing results too from working in that environment, where I think as liberating and wonderful as the new technology has been for musicians, in that you can record fantastic music in your basement.
Sure.
For me personally, that led me from a focus standpoint. That would lead me to try things that wouldn't work in a way. I couldn't get things to work in a certain type of way. I couldn't capture performances in a certain type of way. And so going into a studio where you had the time that was fixed, and you had an engineer producer type element in there, I feel some of the performances that we got for the various solos. I mean, the live tracks, the rhythm tracks for the whole album were done in one day.
Nice.
We paid to have a mobile engineer come in, and we went into a basement of a church where we could get a good room, because really all we wanted to walk out there with was a good drum sound.
Right.
We were thinking Zeppelin 4, kind of big room drums. If we can get that, we can build off of that.
Sure.
But, we knew we had one day. The time consciousness, it adds a performance element that if you're in your basement and you can do 16 tracks, that's great. Or 16 takes, you can sit there and do it over a long period of time. I felt that we got some interesting sort of adrenalized results from, we're doing this once, we're doing this twice, that's it, go.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because I totally get that feel, especially from Holiday Excursion. I mean, that song it just bristles with energy. It's got some really energetic moments where it kind of flexes its muscle, but it also has some really beautiful passages, that get hit with some bombast. It's a very dynamic track. You were saying that you almost didn't include that on the album?
Yes,
that would have been a mistake.
That's
it's
one
sort of Mogwai-esque. That's the best I can think. It has all the best elements of a great Mogwai song.
We're big post-rock Mogwai fans, so that there was no way to avoid. Once we knew we were going to allow ourselves to have a song like that we play, and that song's different every time we play it, and which is one of the best. I love improvisation inside of boundaries.
Sure.
And that's what that song is for us. But yeah, when we did it, we were at that session I was talking about, where we were doing all the rhythm tracks, and we said, "Are we really going to do this? Well, let's just do it, because we could have one of it." And we just kept all the tracks. The rhythm guitar became the only guitar, and there were no overdubs, and that's what's on the album.
I don't hear any place you need an overdub. Seriously, it just really came together well.
Right on.
Thank you.
Well, tell me about the song "Close Your Eyes." It has such a tender and vulnerable sounding vocal delivery. with the male and female vocal dynamics. I mean, it's just a really beautiful ballad and very, very poignant, I guess would be like the best word.
Thank you.
Tell me about that one.
That song was composed essentially as a lullaby originally to my infant daughter when she was 3-6 months, somewhere in there, and she would be in, those mechanical swings you can get, and you put the infant in the swing. And one of the things I would do with her is just play my acoustic guitar for her, and I like to explore tunings when I'm just fooling around and playing with ideas. And so I'd found this wonderful open F6 tuning, and I'm in this picking pattern, and the melody just sort of, it started as just a lullaby, and I was telling her to close her eyes, and it was that simple. And the close your eyes, reassure her it's okay, everything's going to be okay. And then as I found myself in liking the melody and the chord pattern, I went back in another context to try and turn it into a song, and it just escaped the confines of lullaby. And so when I began, but I couldn't make the lyrics work. So all the lullaby lyrics got essentially tossed, except for the close your eyes, and I found myself sort of loosely exploring when I would find myself closing my eyes in certain contexts, especially when I'm sort of doubting myself or maybe berating myself internally. So the song very abstractly kind of describes that internal dialogue that someone has when you close your eyes and you're feeling negative about yourself.
And who's the female vocalist on that?
Eugenia. Yes. Yeah,
Great voice. She's got a
I know.
really, really nice voice.
Yeah.
And the two voices together really work well. Well, Josie's Cabin is another really solid track. It definitely kind of has a Neil Young sort of vibe to it. Is there a story or inspiration behind that song?
Yeah, my wife and I were on a road trip going to Salt Lake City, and we stopped at a dinosaur national monument, like in western Colorado. Well, there is a cabin there called Josie's Cabin, and I would describe the place as like unbearable. I mean, it's just so damn hot, and like we're basically after that trip, we decided we're never going to the desert again, and but this lady Josie had basically dropped out of society, built a cabin there, and lived there like 60 years. And I got a little bit of her story off the little placards at the park, but essentially that was the start of the song, and then I sort of made up a narrative behind that. Like, essentially she had this disagreement with her sister, and so there's kind of the vocal, I miss my sister every day, and so that's kind of the voice of the sister, just sad that they had that cut off, and Josie just decided to end the relationship and end contact with the outside world. So I honestly don't know why the real Josie decided to move there, but it gave me a start. It was a little catalyst. Yeah.
I've always loved how the lyric in that song, my favorite lyric in there is just this fantastically succinct expression of the passage of time, while simultaneously expressing sort of two different perspectives on our country. Right? There's a line in there where he says, "We fought 3 wars while she worked on the farm."
Yep.
And that just expresses so many things to me. I've
That
always
line
connected.
really stands out.
Yeah.
It definitely does.
I mean, it was one of those that came to me while we were at the park, and we went hiking, and like I said, it was unbearably hot, and I just kind of thought, people are cold, but the desert is warm, and it's very warm, and so it's kind of like that's what she found solace in, was the heat and the loneliness, and like she had the canyon, like the canyon's arms to wrap around her, and that's what gave her solace, So,
Interesting.
yeah.
Well, who are some other local artists that you guys think that our listeners should check out?
I had a great time at the UMS. Probably one of my favorites was Two Tone Wolfpack.
I've heard good things.
Yeah, and
Good
like
things.
I think some of their lyrical themes sort of relate to Josie's Cabin. I think some of the things they talk about.
I would point folks who are into dreamier pop, synthesizer, organ, delayed type music to the Morning Clouds.
Morning Clouds.
I think they're definitely not starting out. I mean, I heard them on open air, and
I think they were episode 4 of our show.
I was, yeah.
They're really good.
Yeah. Who else have I been listening to? Rubedo.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Fantastic
Love those
live
guys.
show.
Their new album's really good.
Yeah,
really
Love is
good.
the Answer.
Like that a lot.
There's a group, Pale Sun.
And it's funny because Morning Clouds and Pale Sun both played the Gathering of the Clouds Festival
That's right.
2013.
That's right.
And they both were just, really good set. That whole festival, that was 3 freaking awesome days. And you guys have an album release show coming up this weekend. You want to plug that show and give us the details?
Yes, we have our album release show Saturday, November 23rd at the Sidewinder, which is up in Globeville at 45th and Logan. Easy access from I-70 Washington exit. Have some great folks playing with us that we're very, very appreciative of and excited about. Joe Sampson's going to go on first, and then we'll go on in the middle, and then
Ross Etherton and the Chariots of Judah. Excited for those guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Always good.
And for those people who've never been there, seriously, you got to go check out Sidewinder. You walk in, it looks like this dinky little bar, and then there's this whole room to the side that just opens up. I've been to 3 or 4 shows there, and it always seems to sound really good. If you've never been to that venue, definitely check it out. It's probably one of the best kept secrets in the local music scene, I think.
It's a great brand new venue.
Yeah, when we went up there to, we're trying to figure out where we wanted to have our show. Had kind of wanted to check out a couple shows there and just missed it for various reasons. And then, well, let's just go up there, have a beer, take a look. And we walked in, and it was just kind of like a bluegrass jam in like the small side, and they didn't have a show going on that night, but the concert hall was open, and we went in, and right away we're like, yeah, this is the spot. It's just a gem. Yeah, I feel like and I think stuff's moving that way, and more people are going to start going, and yeah.
One Crawford's doing an amazing job booking them. Gold Rush this year. I mean, I know
that was a great festival.
He's
Were
done
you
an
at that
amazing
festival?
job. I was there for a little bit.
So good.
Yeah, he's it's cool. Good things are coming for Sidewinder.
Yeah, I think you're right. The people there are really cool.
Yeah,
Great staff.
Fez. And,
Yep.
Well, what track off Fondness should we close this interview with?
I think I'd Let You would be the one.
That's a cool track. That's a really cool track too. Again, it has kind of a sweet male female vocal, and then there's just like these washes of distortion, and I mean it's like it's a really grungy, like loose, just dirty distortion that filters in and out through there. That's another really good track. I like how you guys did that. Sounds good.
Cool.
Guys, thanks for taking time to meet with us, and great album. Best of luck with your release show, and look for you guys down the road for sure.
Thanks so much for having us.
Yep.
Got it.